up from football, but this eye don't work very well. And all my friends know that, and I know that's probably from football. I mean, I ran the ball my whole life, and I know I lead kind of here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean.
So you don't remember before the concussion, right before?
No.
Okay, tell that to Alex, okay?
No. Alex, I don't remember shit.
So I know I had a couple concussions along the way. I took a couple line drives in baseball, but football, I had a pretty well documented. Matter of fact, my first varsity start, my freshman year, in non-league. First game of the season, our starting quarterback actually got a concussion, so he had to sit out a week. So here I come, freshman quarterback, and we're playing at home against Rogue River, and they're a class above us. And
Oregon ball.
Yeah. And playing Rogue River at home, and I was doing pretty well first quarter, and I wasn't doing a lot, just check downs and handing the ball off, and we were a veer team, so we were running a lot of option, and my football field had a crown on it. And so you crown, that's the way the water drained off. Anyway, so we were on about the 35-yard line, and I come rolling out to the left, and I got a dude, and I'm trying to, tell him to go, whatever. Well, then I was not as fast as I thought I was, obviously, as a freshman. Yeah. And there's two dudes coming downhill at me. I got a safety and a linebacker, and I got a lineman chasing me. And by the time I figured I couldn't get rid of the ball, I was like, I'm going to run it. So I tucked it and ran, and about 2 steps after the line of scrimmage, these dudes are beating down on me. And all 3 of them hit me at the same time, man. They just laid me out, and I don't remember a lot about the hit except for going, oh shit,
Yeah.
And it bounced my head off, and the only thing I remember off of that is a lineman, Kenneth Powell. I remember him picking me up, of course, get up, and I'm looking up, and the lights are just, I'm like, what is going on? Went back out there, got in the huddle, whatever, came down, handed the ball off, and I actually hit Zach Mitchell. If you're watching, Zach, you should have caught that ball. I know you should have. Hit him right in the numbers, right between the 8 and the 4, man. Little out route on the goal line, bounced off his chest, whatever, got picked off. And that's the last. I don't even remember that. The last thing I remember is looking at the lights going like this. The only reason I know that happened is because I'll watch the game film afterwards. And
See yourself looking at the lights.
Yeah, dude. The next thing I remember, man, was the oxygen in the ambulance. It was the freshest air I'd ever smelled. And I woke up and I'm like,
anybody that's ever had a concussion knows. So I mean, your equilibrium, and even just I look back on it and wish I would have took myself out. You know what I mean? But you feel drunk.
Danny.
It looks like Jamie. Yeah, Jamie's got some.
Since we had Waterboy on, when you got tackled, did it look like that scene when he gets dogpiled by the whole entire football team, and when they all just go boom, boom?
Yeah, pretty. Except for it was all simultaneous. Yeah. It was everybody hitting me at the same time, and I was, dude. I mean, I'm a little thicker down here now, but I mean, I graduated high school at 143 pounds. My freshman year, I was probably weighing about $110 at this height.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? I'm 6'1", $110.
They set you up.
Oh yeah, they seen me coming a mile away, right? And I actually, so I went to the hospital and came back, and it was we actually had a high school dance afterwards, and we watched the game film at the dance over and over. We didn't watch the film; we watched that hit over and over again, and that's how I actually know what happened. But I mean, nowadays you look at the whole CTE thing, and it's a big deal. But they've done a lot to protect. There's a lot of with helmet technology and training.
Yeah,
and
man,
things like that.
The padding inside of this helmet right here, compared to what I was even using in high school 10 years ago, is insane.
Well, remember what? Okay, I remember because I was the ball boy. Speaking of water boy, I was the ball boy on our high school football team. So I remember when air helmets first came out, and literally
they had one.
It was like exactly, and it was a ring that went around your head with a couple things that came down.
Yep.
And
you could snap it inside. The little blue thing. Yeah. You just snapped it up there.
And you literally had a blood pressure thing. And you're like, hey, dude, air me up. You stick your head in it.
That's crazy. I forgot about that.
I think that was I think that was right around the time when I was playing.
Yeah.
That when those became like a big thing, you know, you'd always see the trainers come up to you and be like, "Okay, I got you."
Yeah. You always had those jokers on the team too. It'd pop it out of their helmet and just wear it around, walking around. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why I don't understand. I mean, it is what it is, but some of these NFL players, dude, that don't even do their chin strap. It's just like, why that? Not only are you, it would be hard if it was just us playing. We're nothing badass or anything.
Hey, calm down.
You're okay. Maybe.
I'm
I'm not trying to take him on at the goal line.
I'm not either.
Hell no.
But I sure as hell wouldn't do it without my chin strap and, two different mouthpieces in or whatever the hell. But yeah, some of these NFL players that don't wear their chin strap going up against a freaking perfect another.
You even see like DBs and they're not even wearing pants anymore.
They're not wearing their.
That's optional now.
Yeah.
That's optional now. I mean, even in college, we would get there was a size requirement. I think it was like a 3x1.
To cover the kneecap.
People would they would take their knee pad out and cut it down, literally, the size of a cookie, and stick it in there.
I don't even know. I remember my first year ever playing football on the Aztecs. I thought that wasn't enough padding. Because you have these. That's it.
Rib pads.
Legs. Yeah.
Back protector.
That's it. I was like, this isn't going to protect my legs, dude. It's covering here and here. What if somebody hits me right there? Because I was a catcher. So me knowing that every time the ball hits you, it always decides to find the spot that's...
You had more protection being a catcher than you did a football player.
That's not covered. You're like, you block a ball and instead of hitting you here, it hits you here.
The one spot.
Yeah. So I can't tell you how many bruises I've had on my thighs.
On his knees. That's
what he said. Sword fighting. That's what I was thinking about.
Sword
fighting.
Sword fighting.
Okay, Danny got his. Danny got his in. Jamie, you're up. You got a joke for that?
Pedro, you're so old you actually played with the Aztec civilization. Not the Aztec.
I like that. All right.
You asked, man.
Jamie.
Perfect. Hey, if Pedro said that he wanted to give him a mic, so that's your fault.
You know what? Actually, Danny's running sound, so I can't shut your mic off. I can't do shit.
All right, so semi-pro football back here in Elko, looking for players first and foremost, but of course sponsors and any help that they can get.
Also, Danny, we're looking for a coach.
Look for a coach.
Look for a head coach.
Have you reached out to Eli?
Eli actually messaged me. We've talked a little bit, but I haven't Tito Segovia. I don't know if anybody knows him. He's a power lifter, right? So Tito's been helping me a lot, and shout out to you, Tito. Thank you for stepping up. I never really knew Tito a whole lot. Once I started all this and kind of making it a known thing, Tito is right there. I mean, right away, man. He's been to every little practice get-together I've had.
Get Sean Sandoval's ass out there.
Sean said no. Sean's scared of the field these days.
Well, I'm saying
just
coach.
kidding, Sean.
I'm saying coach.
To coach, that'd be great. But so we're looking for a head coach guy, and honestly, guys, it's not as boom, boom, boom as everybody thinks. If
you don't need to come out there and be Ditka right off.
Yeah, if we need two head coaches, and because you work 7 on 7 off, and so do you, and you're on the opposite, that works. Yeah. We're literally putting together a squad. We want to be organized. We want to be, we gotta practice. We gotta get these things in order. We want to be great, but at the same time, we're having fun.
You got to get off the ground. What I mean?
We're having fun. Right now we're just putting all our bearings in the basket, and we're trying to get rolling. I mean, so right now, we've got the players. I mean, we've got the venue, we've got the league, we're getting a schedule this weekend. It's kind of down to the finer things, you know what I mean? Tito is going to be helping out. So far, he's been the only guy that I could say is the coach. You know what I mean? So other than Tito dedicating his time, Tito's powerlifting. Right. So he can't play because he don't want to get hurt, which I understand because he made nationals, and he needs to be ready for that. So anybody else that's willing to come help coach, I mean, just hit me up.
So you're doing kind of like the longest yard Burt Reynolds thing. You're like, hey, dude, I'll put myself in when I need to carry the ball. I got this.
So that's what it is. If I can't find a head coach, I'm going to coach this team. Sure. And I love playing, man, and I want to be out on that field just as bad as the next guy, probably more. But if I need to coach this first year just to get this thing rolling, that's what I'm going to do.
Sweet. So if anybody wants to reach out to us, Logan, shout out your phone number one more time, then we'll talk a little bit of college football and NFL to close out the show. What's your phone number, Logan?
All right, 775-397-7891.
And that is the Battle-Born Gunners semi-pro football team located here in the Elko area, playing their home games out at Spring Creek High School. So looking forward to that, and that's going to be a lot of fun. At least we're going to help out where we can. We've got some things scheduled, so as soon as that schedule comes out, Pedro and I and the whole team here will be looking forward to that season, and definitely help you guys out where we can, man.
Is Jamie going to suit up?
Not even any of that high quality H2O.
High quality H2O. You know, I
You
would,
can
but
make the. You
my
can be
mama,
the Vicky.
my mama said foosball's the devil.
Was that from your medulla oblongata? All right, so let's shift gears here a little bit. Still sticking on with the football. So college football season pretty much wrapping up. Had I think there's one more bowl game after the national championship, Louisiana.
Georgia Bama.
So Georgia Bama going into the college football playoff. There's always that talk about the SEC, and then this year we had our first ever Group of 5 conference. Cincinnati made the Final Four, and Michigan also was able to wax Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, but when it came down to it, man, the SEC just handled the business, and
Besides LSU.
Yeah. We've got we've got Alabama and Georgia in the national championship game, and for most of the season, and we talked with our friend Pete Cavender about it. It seemed that Georgia was heads and shoulders above the rest of the NCAA. Their defense was amazing. They were rolling through. But coming up to the SEC championship game, Pete mentioned, he's like, well, if you were going to say what team in the nation could possibly beat Georgia, who would it be? And the answer is obviously Alabama. Right? And Nick Saban coach squad, they had a rough season. They didn't look great all season, but they went out and handled Georgia in the SEC championship game. So we got the national title game. It's a rematch. It's going to be in Indianapolis on my birthday, Monday. So who you got? What do you think about this national championship game, Logan?
Man.
Who do you got, and who do you want to win?
I got Bama and Bama.
Yeah, Bama.
I mean, it's just that is what it is since I was a kid. It seems like they're there every year.
Right.
You know what I mean? And growing up, I mean, even guys now coming out of high school, who do you want to go play for?
Bama.
Right. You know what I mean? That's the dream. So yeah, I'm going Bama all the way.
And that's kind of crazy because early on growing up, obviously way back in the 80s, you had the lore from Paul Bear Bryant and the old Alabama squads from back in the day, but in the 80s and 90s, Alabama wasn't really that great of a squad.
That's where your cousin lived.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, absolutely. I like it.
He got one in too.
Yeah, from Bama, old cousin Cooter. But when Nick Saban left, obviously LSU and went to and you're an LSU fan?
Oh, I love LSU. Yeah, that's my love, man. That's where I wanted to go.
Right.
I was close. I mean, I could have had my shot, I think, but I got a pretty cool son now. So.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
a badass son.
yeah.
Ellis is a good kid.
Tyrann Mathieu. I mean, Chiefs now. You
Right.
know what I mean? But I followed him.
The Honey Badger.
The Honey Badger, man. Yeah, my whole career. I wanted to be just like him. Throughout college football, when he was running LSU, you know what I mean, before he got caught up with the marijuana deal.
Yeah.
That's who I want to be, and that's who I was in college. You know what I mean? They called me the Honey Badger when I was up in college,
Sweet.
and I love LSU because of Tyrann Mathieu, man.
Right.
That guy's a stud.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So Alabama, Georgia. I don't really care who wins. Actually, I'd like to see Georgia win. Just for a little bit of parity.
Underdog.
A few years ago when go Dogs. A few years ago, they as I think it was the same year that the Falcons choked. When Tua was playing for
When they were
Bama.
up on the
Yeah, when they were up big.
They were up big.
Up big, and then I want to say Tua hit Devontae Adams.
Yeah, they were up like 30 at half.
Yeah, dude, and
Something crazy.
and yeah, just much like the Falcons were against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and Alabama was in this. So I'd like to see for the coaching staff and the program down there. I'd like to see Georgia win the national championship. But ultimately, as a football fan, hope it's a good game. Hope it's a knockdown, drag-out SEC football game. You know, it'd be nice to see, 24-21. I mean, I know people like points. They like the 55-50 games, man. But I'm more of a traditional football guy. I'd like to see just some hard-hitting football.
Yeah, you like to see some takeovers, some hits, some catches. Yeah, everything.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Who you got, Pedro?
I already told you. I'm going for Alabama.
Boise State?
Oh, for what? Hang on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read. I'm looking at.
No. You answered right.
Boise who?
He's going for UNR this weekend.
There you go.
No.
All right.
No. Okay.
Oh, sorry, no. There's comments coming in, so I'm trying to read them.
What do you got?
I don't know if you know this, but guys can't multitask.
Yes, I'm quite aware. I disagree. We got a disagreement over in the peanut gallery. Yeah, he is multitasking. Jamie is the definition of it. All right, well, college football wrapping up. We should have a good national championship game here Monday. Now we're down to some NFL, and I know you've got a squad right in the thick of things with the Cowboys still have an outside shot for that number 1 seed, right? A little outside shot
for the I mean, man, I hate talking about my Cowboys. I've been diehard.
Sure.
Since '92.
As you
mean?
As you should.
I tell people all the time, those are the best, nicest people I've ever met. Most loyal people I've ever met are Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're definitely not Raiders fans. Yeah,
No.
they're definitely not Raiders
Dude,
fans.
I literally, what was it, 95 when they won their last Super Bowl?
Yeah, 92, 93, and the 95.
Yeah, and my dad's Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
I've tricked a few people that
Right.
really thought that was my father. It's just his name, but you know what I mean? I've played that joke my whole life. We got a shot, though, man. My guys in my carpool, Gabe Chavez, Rex Jackson, Big Brian. You guys, you're haters, man, but they're on it. I mean, the Cowboys they're close. They're really close. I have very little faith in the Cowboys, and that's just because of what they do to me every year. You know what I mean? Everybody says, every Cowboys fan's like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. But there's years where they look like it, like this year.
Right.
I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl, but we have the potential. Back in 2017 when we lost the Packers, we had the potential.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they get my hopes up a lot.
Sure.
I think they got a shot, but I'm not.
Well,
And
not
knock
even-
on wood, I just did for you.
They
thank you. There you go.
definitely
Yeah,
do. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
they've got the number 1 offense in the National Football League as far as points scored.
Number 1
yards.
defense and takeaways, too.
And they're getting healthy at the right time.
Yes.
They had a bunch of injuries. Just lost Gallup this last week.
They did.
I don't know if you saw that replay, man.
I did. I seen it
pop,
watching the game.
dude. Like
Yeah.
you could see. I mean,
He was running when it happened, actually.
Leave it to Danny.
oh Jesus, we need an IT guy. Okay, we're back. All right, can you hear
I
me?
think more than anything,
I
we
can
need a
hear you.
refill guy.
Hang on. Say it again.
We good?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, you go ahead and go get a refill.
I got a refill.
Okay.
All right, he's gonna get a refill. I feel like Logan is a little heartbroken and is used to he's had his heart broken a couple of times.
Well, we start talking about the Cowboys, and he immediately needs a drink. He's, God, these guys are stressing me out over here.
No joke.
So yeah, look, I could see Logan's got some little bit of scarring. He's been hurt.
And I think that and
Scars, they're just wounds.
yeah, open wounds, yeah. And I feel the same thing. I mean, being a Niner fan, man. I mean, it was a long time from the mid '90s, and then we made a run there, with Pedro's boy Colin Kaepernick, and
Whoa.
But yeah, Pedro.
No. Well, hang on.
They shared a dorm room.
Yeah, okay. No, we did not. But I will say this: for a while
you
there,
did, though? You went to college with Colin?
for a while. Well, I can't say that I
They were at the school at the same time.
Yeah, I can't say that I hung out with the dude and but yes, I was living in Reno when he was at Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Nevada.
Yeah.
But so yeah, when he first went over to the Niners and took over and was, actually doing pretty badass.
Well, when
with
he
the
left,
Niners.
Nevada, man, I mean, he was I want to say over 10,000 passing yards and like 4,000 rushing yards. A record that I believe still stands in college football. So
yeah, he was big. He was big time.
And then with the Niners, like I followed him for was it 2 or 3 years that he did pretty badass.
Yeah, he came in relief for Alex Smith and took him to the Super Bowl, and then had a rough year after that, and then went off the rails.
After that,
Decided to
he became a douche.
Have you watched that documentary on him?
I did.
There's a Netflix documentary.
No, I did, and
we already talked about that. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
But I don't want to, just because it's one of those things, because it was really exciting, because he was like, for a while there in Reno, he was kind of like a hero.
Big time.
Oh yeah, he had billboards everywhere and stuff like that.
For me, and that was my time.
Yeah,
I just went to college when he was getting drafted. You know what I mean? And he was known. He still is.
So it was pretty. I was like, oh yeah, because I was a Niners fan when I was a kid.
When they were winning.
Back in the day, yeah. Back when, shut the hell up.
There you go, Daddy.
Back when, they were badass. You got Montana, Rice, Steve, even like Steve Young, because everyone wondered, okay, who's going to replace Joe Montana?
Yep.
And then you get this guy from BYU. And
I'm proud of you, Pedro.
He ends up being.
You knew that.
He ends up being a badass.
Yeah.
And you're just like, whoa. So when I was a little kid, I was a Niners fan. Just because you'd always see Jerry Rice, making the one-handed catches and stuff. And so I was a Niners fan, and then I didn't watch football for a couple of years just because I'm kind of into it, but not like crazy into it.
So was that because of the knee? Because let me say something real quick.
Go ahead, dude.
Dude, people tell me that all the time. And you don't love football if you stopped watching football because Colin Kaepernick took a knee.
No.
You know how many people have told me, I don't watch it anymore. I don't got nothing to do with it. Well, then you're good. Because you don't. I'm not calling you out, but I'm just saying other people. I've heard that a lot. They stopped watching it because he took a knee. Well, good, because you don't really love it.
I didn't. I was never a huge football guy. Mm-hmm. I played football. I was into it, but I'm a baseball guy.
Okay.
So for probably, this was before even Kaepernick made it to the NFL. I would watch it here and there, but then my buddies started holding, Super Bowl parties or hey, we're watching the games on Sunday, and they all had teams, and I'm like, well, I guess I need to pick a team. Like I have to cheer somebody on.
Niners.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I picked the Niners. Plus, I love the Bay Area, honestly.
All right.
So no, the knee. I was watching football by then. So before Kaepernick even made it to the NFL, I had started watching. But the only reason I went with the Niners was because I was like, well, I'm a Nevada guy. Kaepernick went to Nevada. Yep. Okay, I'll that's my team, if you will. But I'm not going to say I was a diehard fan or anything like that.
Well, we went through a lot of feudal years, man. Frank Gore was our only good player for about 10 years. Yeah, he just 18 years, dude, out of Miami. Frank Gore was a stud. But let's go back to the playoff picture here. So we've got Green Bay, Sean, obviously. They've clinched the number 1 overall seed in the playoffs. So the road to the Super Bowl is going to go through Lambeau Field, which is never easy. But recent history shows that Green Bay hasn't done great at Lambeau Field. They've lost they've lost the last 2 NFC Championship games. So in the number 2 spot, Dallas, followed by Tampa Bay and Arizona. The Rams are in, and the Eagles are in. And then we have got the Niners and the Saints kind of on the outside looking in. So hopefully the Niners can squeak into the playoffs. If anything, it's for a little bit more experience. We still don't know what we're doing at quarterback. Jimmy G, seems to serve the purpose, but you can't stay healthy, man. And you win games when you're out there, but if you're not out there, you're not winning games. So,
Yep.
hopefully Trey Lance can get a little bit of playoff experience. Not sure what's going on there. So favorite you're seeing and I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the bracket, but I'm sure if they're 1-2, they're opposite sides. So you're seeing a Dallas Green Bay NFC Championship game.
No, I don't even like thinking about that.
Hoping the Packers get upset and they get the home game. Right?
I'm hoping that we just don't got to see them.
Right.
Every year. I mean, the last 3 times Dallas has been right here. They get knocked out by Green Bay.
Have you been to Jerry's World?
No.
No. Me neither.
No.
We had a friend of ours, Haley, that was on here that said that
Yeah,
when down there they would actually lower the screen
Yeah.
down so dudes could play Madden.
Yeah.
That's
We've seen it. There's a whole tour on YouTube. You can.
Right.
That's a bucket list for sure.
So speaking of
Bucket
Madden,
list
did you
for
watch the Madden documentary?
No, it came out on New Year's, right?
It came out on Christmas.
On Christmas?
But you
Yeah,
can see,
yeah.
you can go back and watch it. You can
Yeah,
go on YouTube and
I
watch
was
it.
very excited to watch it, and we were watching a Monday night game when that happened. Man, I teared up,
Yeah.
straight up in front of my girlfriend.
Icon.
I really did. I teared up, and they had it live. Breaking news: John Madden dies, and that guy right there. I'll tell you what, dude. That's the reason why I love football is because of John Madden.
Well, he narrated Troy Aikman's, Emmett Smith, and Michael Irvin.
Exactly. The
he
trio.
He narrated their career. Every big game, Thanksgiving games. It was always John Madden, Pat Summerall, man.
When I was a little kid, man, me and my brother Shane, we used to play Madden, like Madden 98, I think is what it was. We lived in Montana, and that's when I started playing flag football. But then I'm like, I want to be on this game, bro.
Right.
And because of Madden, I feel like is a big reason why I started loving the game of football for sure. Yeah, R.I.P.
One of the coolest things I thought about playing Madden is because I grew up with Troy Polamalu for the Steelers, and
Yeah.
when Madden came out and he was on the game, dude was like, I gotta be the Steelers just so I can be Troy, dude. Like I know this guy, man. I'm controlling this guy. I know this guy, man. It was a lot of fun.
When it came to broadcasting, we talked about this, but I'm not sure if you heard it. But John Madden was one of the first commentators that actually started giving insight of what's going on in the game. Because before it was just
He got Fox, right?
Yeah,
he had every network.
He's
went,
what launched Fox NFL football.
Yeah.
When he signed on with Fox, everybody was like, all right, we're going to Fox.
Yeah.
Because John Madden telestrated, and he could make the layperson.
He laid
Right
down
there.
a huge foundation.
He was basically, because before John Madden, most the commentators would kind of say, pass here to Pedro, and that's it. They wouldn't give detail as
There was no X's and O's.
Yeah, he would say he knew so much about the sport that he could say, okay, this is why they decided to do this, or are going with this play, or running this formation, doing stuff like that. And before him, no commentators had ever done that. And not that they didn't have the knowledge, but that was never a thing. And that was one of the things, like when he got into broadcasting, which is why I think he's awesome for what he did with his career. But also, when he did get into broadcasting, he was kind of a pioneer when it came.
He was just Raiders, right?
Yeah, he
Raiders?
was a Raider, and he would never coach.
He went straight from Raiders to broadcasting.
And he wanted to make sure he did it right, and he took coaching the game into broadcasting, right? Because how many times you in the locker room, you're at halftime, you got your defensive coach, you X's and O's, man. We're gonna do this. This guy's going here, and John Madden's doing that live on TV, and it's all over the screen, and this guy going here
To this day,
boom. And even if you don't know anything about football, at least you understand.
John Madden, he made sure you.
You knew what. Okay, this is why the quarterback decided to do this because his receiver
and he
was
can make
here,
your grandma understand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was
Your
just going to
girlfriend.
say that. I was just going to say that somebody who doesn't know anything about football, John Madden's still a household name because you know that name. It's synonymous with football. John Madden is to football what Tom Clancy is to like military stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's a true legacy. Is that when when your name goes synonymous with something, like that's when you think about, you know,
Right.
you think about that subject. That's how you know you've crafted a legacy.
Yeah, no,
So,
Definitely.
rest in peace to John Madden.
Definitely.
I've had many a good time playing Madden
I
myself.
think John Madden is leaving more of a legacy than almost anybody in sports ever. I mean, I'm sorry, but R.I.P. Kobe. But you look at John Madden, that'll always be football.
Yeah, he's synonymous with the game, right?
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, absolutely synonymous.
His
with
name
the
will
game.
never be forgotten.
Right.
Ever, ever, ever.
You put it up there with the Jackie Robinson.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
I mean, you know, people that don't know the game know Jackie Robinson. People that
Yeah.
don't know football know John Madden. And one thing we talked about is, you know, a lot of people gave him a lot of shit for pointing out the obvious. Well, as a football fan, you're not really watching the game to listen to the commentator because you kind of know what it is. And don't get me wrong,
You say a lot of the same things they do sometimes.
But exactly, yeah.
I'm like, I just said that.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, and be
Yeah.
like, oh, he's pointing out the obvious. Yeah, but that's for
That's broadcasting.
the 8-year-old that's sitting there watching a game, and he really wanted, and that's when he went into to launching his video game. I don't know if you know this, but Joe Montana actually, the EA Sports approached Joe Montana first.
Oh, really?
For that
I
game.
didn't know that.
And
I
he
didn't
was
know
he
that.
was under contract with Atari actually at the time. And they approached him with, you know, because back then it was 8-bit gaming, right? So I don't know if you remember the Tecmo Bowls, but Tecmo Bowl was 8-man football,
No,
right?
I remember that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's a little
Before
bit
my
you. It's
time.
definitely before you. But when Super Tecmo Bowl came out, that was when they started stat tracking and stuff like that. And a matter of fact, that kind of led me to what my passion is in sports, because I love stats, I love organizing sports, I love things. And that's Tecmo Bowl back in the day. There was nothing on there, so you had to bracket your own stuff. You know, you bring
Yeah.
these 6 friends over, and you're playing a little
Yeah.
tournament, playoffs, you know, whatever. And then Super Tecmo Bowl came along, and they had some of that stuff built into the game. But then when Madden came out, John Madden Football came out, they approached him, and they were like, well, you know, we're going to do 8-man. He's like, well, I'm out. I'm not doing that. If we're going to do it, I'm going to do it right. It's going to be 11-man football, and we're
The
going to
way
help
it is.
educate football. And it really has taken a whole new generation. I mean, you look at, like, right now, Lamar Jackson. Take it for it. He's doing shit on the field that you see in a video game, and the broadcasters say that
Yeah.
you're looking like a video
Yep.
game. Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
I mean, these guys that are brought up with that, you're doing stuff that you were, you know, doing.
Those
on
guys
the
were
video
all
games.
introduced at the same time, though.
Right.
When all that came out.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
yeah.
it's
And
chasing a bigger dream.
revolutionizing the game. So let's take a little. I don't care. But so over on the AFC side, we got a little bit of Kansas City is back to the premiere of the AFC. So who do you see coming out of the AFC?
KC.
KC?
Yeah, KC.
KC Dallas Super Bowl?
Probably.
Yeah. All
I
right.
don't know.
KC.
You know what, though? Kansas City is like, man, I got friends that are Kansas City fans. Those guys are no joke, man. I mean, they got the same exact team. Patrick Mahomes paid the salary this year to make sure he had the same exact team leading into this year as he did last year. I mean, they just...
And Andy Reid's
I
the winner,
think,
man.
I think what happened with KC at the beginning of the year, everyone was saying they were in a slump or they lost it. They had the same exact team. I think they were overconfident. I think they lacked a little bit of push.
Drive,
drive. They just thought that, oh, you know, we're good. We're good.
Just coast through it, right?
Yeah, and then they realized, shit, we're in the NFL.
Right.
You know,
Their
yeah,
ass
and they got
kicked
it right
a couple
back
times.
together. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah,
they're
they're a good
professionals.
squad. I mean, besides Dallas, they're right there. They're right there. I mean, Patrick Mahomes passing yards. I mean, their total offense. I think they were like 100 yards behind Dallas. They're right there. I mean, they're a good squad.
And Andy Reid's going to make sure they're ready to go, and especially the week off. He very rarely wins or loses after a bye, so almost like cruising into the AFC
Points
championship
allowed?
games.
Points allowed. I think I was looking at it last week. They were averaging like 12.5 points a game allowed.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Right.
They're
And when you
They're
can
scary,
almost
yeah.
guarantee that Patrick Mahomes is going to put up at least 28 points.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to get ready to cut out of here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Thanks to our friends from the Gaeta Group. Make sure you head on over to Cook's Steakhouse and Saloon. There are still some tickets available at CED Electric. and cooks as well. Going to get started at 9 o'clock. I think doors open just before then. So head on over to Cook's right over there on 3rd Street. We'll be there providing some sound, and Pedro will be there on the mic. And we'll have a good time. And then also Sunday, if you don't have anything going on, go ahead over to Centennial Gymnasium for the first youth wrestling tournament of the season. Good to see these little guys back out on the mat. And if you've never been to a youth wrestling tournament, man, it is a lot of fun. It is. Even if you just want to go stand and watch some of these little guys and gals chase each other around, it's a lot of fun. It really is. I'm glad to get back in it. I'm really sore today. I had the 4 through 8 year olds yesterday, so I was teaching them how to sprawl and things like that.
There you go.
That was painful. So congratulations to Infinite Wrestling Club, Jessica and Uriel, for getting that going. They've got a good squad over there, and of course Elko Youth Wrestling Club, and then over the hill, Ruby Mountain Wrestling, and then we got to give a shout out to Wade Pearson. His just absolutely set the mold over there as far as wrestling programs are concerned. I know you were a part of his wrestling program.
Scott Barrett.
Yeah, Scott Barrett, which started that, and Wade Pearson stepped up, and you'll be working with Wade Pearson for football out there. So kudos to you, Pearson, for doing what you do out there, and everybody that's involved with youth wrestling. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We are talking sports with Pedro and Danny. Make sure you go like the Gunners semi-pro football team, Battleborn Gunners, getting ready to play some football here in Spring Creek, Nevada. Good night, everybody. Talking sports with Pedro and Danny.